The Extraordinary Rendition of Janos Farkas, Chapter 49. She could not see the dawn, but she could hear it come in by the muezzin's first call to prayer. There had been no sleep for her, although it was needed, and no rest for her mind. She couldn't remember how many times during the night she had searched his back for the peace-eye scar. "My heart is up here," he had said to her. Whose heart lay beating beside her now? Who was this false Janos? What was her role, her new role? Several times she had wanted to wake him, shake him, and demand answers. "It is a living role you will be playing," they had said to her. "In order for you to be successful, you must treat everything as if it were real. React as if it were real. Do what a real person would. What would you do if your husband were kidnapped? What would you do if no one believed you? What would you do? Think of what the real player would do, and then do that. That is what you must do. Play it for real. If you do one thing that looks false, if your portrayal is anything but real, they will kill you. Do you understand?" You bet your ass she understood. And now she was lying here beside a falsehood, a man who was a stranger to her, a man who looked the part and played the part, but was not the part. Was Gisela in on this? Surely a sister would know her own brother. And Turk, he would know, wouldn't he? What was she to do? What would a real wife do? She felt him stirring beside her. The Janos she knew, the real Janos, would reach for her now. This new Janos, this fake, swung his legs from the bed and sat on the edge. "How did you sleep?" he asked. She did not reply with any more than her eyes. And he said, Last night it was..." And without continuing, he turned his face away in silence, and she could only guess what the continuance would have been. He stood up, his back still to her. She looked for the peace-eye scar again, a place where it might have been erased. Nothing. "Howd," he said. "Prince Howd, I have to get to him today. I'd like you to come with me. I'd like you to meet him." "Decoy," she said to herself. "I am to be his decoy with the prince. I am to be his legitimacy." Aloud she said, "I would like to meet the prince. You have told me so much about him." But the new Janos didn't bite, didn't fall for her probe. "What have you two planned?" she asked. But that didn't work either. "I wonder if the Americans, the Syrians, will have a trap set up for me," he asked. "Why?" she asked. "Why should they?" "Prince Howd is to become king of Saudi Arabia," he answered. "The prince has many allies among Muslim people that are not favored by the American and some of the democratic leaders in the Arab League. But King Hakam is still alive, and there is Howd's brother, Prince Fatal, the crown prince. What about them?" Spencer looked at her, but his eyes showed no answer, just as if no answer were needed. "Will there be a trap?" he asked. Ein thought deep inside her for the answer that would take her role, her part, to the next level. "No," she said, "you are here as Prince Howd's guest. As you said, he has many friends here, and if a trap were set up for you, it would not look good for the people who did it, for him. Be bold." "Yes," he said, "be bold." And as if her words had changed him, remodeled him, she watched the hesitation go from his movements as he dressed, and then come back to the bed, and he kissed her hard. "I cannot do this without you," he said, holding her head in his hands and looking deep into her eyes. "You are the breath I draw in this, my lifeline, my truth. I cannot do it without you." He pulled away from her, turned, and went to the door. "Where are you going?" she asked. "Where are you going without me?" I want to know that it is safe, he said, that the world still turns as it should. What are you going to do? Be bold, he answered as the door closed behind him. Ein lay back on the bed. You are my lifeline, my truth. I cannot do without you. His words echoed within her, and the other's words. It is a living role you will be playing. Think of what the real player would do, and do that. That is what you must do. Play it for real. Well, she had played it as real as she could. She had gone to the police and then watched the policeman who had believed her be shot dead on an empty Berlin street. She had done that to get where she was now. And she had taken part in a jailbreak, and even if the prisoner was a fake, there was nothing false in that. She had seen the man with the mustache get shot and in turn shoot Abdullah, and the two Palestinians who were part of it. There was no faking them. They were Hamas terrorists, and their faces were as well known to her as any face she had ever seen. At any other time she would have gladly stuck a knife between their ribs or an Uzi in their mouths, gleefully pulling the trigger. Play it as if it were real. What would you do if your husband were kidnapped? She had done that, all of that and more. But she had helped free the wrong man, an impostor, a ruse. How long would it be before Gisela realized? And Turk? And what about the prince? If the man was found out, he would be killed, and her along with him, as if she were part of the ruse. Should she expose him? And how would that further her role? What end would have been accomplished? What terror averted? Nothing and none. It is a living role you will be playing. Think of what the real player would do, and do that. And what was that? What in the hell was that? That's the end of chapter 49.